It's easily one of the most scenic racetracks in North America, but it's also one of the most challenging. A natural terrain circuit in the middle of Ohio, undulating ups and downs, and of course, the amazing Thunder Valley. I'm talking about the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and it will be the home to the season finale here in the TireRack.com Road to Indy eSeries presented by Cooper Tires. Folks, thank you so much for joining us here on Rev TV, on the Cooper Tire Facebook page, the Road to Indy TV app, or on YouTube as well. My name is Rob Howden, thrilled to be here for this finale, joined by Peter Mackay in the Cooper Tire Broadcast Center. Peter, we've been to a bunch of great racetracks, right? We started things off at Road America. Then we went to the temporary street circuit in Detroit, the Oval at Iowa Speedway, and just came from the iconic WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. This will be a challenge as we have drivers lined up getting ready to go for a championship.
This is going to be an absolute thriller, Rob. I mean, this Mid-Ohio circuit, I'm so jealous that you guys have circuits like this. You could only get a circuit like this in North America, and it's just got such a lovely flow to it. We were talking about it before the broadcast, and these guys are going to have so much fun in these Indy Pro 2000 machines here on iRacing tonight. And really the story is all about Max Esterson. He has a comfortable lead, 25-point lead in the championship, and he's got to basically fend off the challenge from Braden Eves, and Bryson Morris has very much an outside shot. But as we've seen so far, anything can happen.
Let's have a look at those championship points. $2,000 up for grabs for the series champion. And as you said, Max Esterson, and for Esterson Racing, 172 points. He's been able to get a couple of victories here. 7 different winners, Peter, on the season. 2 for Esterson, 1 for Benjamin Pedersen. A couple of race wins, Detroit and Laguna Seca for Braden Eves. James Davison and Bryson Morris splitting the wins at Iowa, and Toby Sowery with that last to first run at Laguna last Wednesday. But this is the battle up front, as you said, between Esterson and Eves.
Indeed, that's kind of been the story of the season, really. When they've had the clean run, they've been in their own division, really. Max Esterson and Braden Eves, and actually in the sim racing world, they raced for the Vendaval team. They raced together in the sim racing world, and they raced at the very highest level, world championship level. And my God, are they fast there? So that sim racing experience has really been quite telling this season.
I like the fact that we have a couple of team owners going head, or teammates rather, in the sim world going head to head, because two very, very talented drivers. Well, folks, we're getting ready to get things underway here, and this track, as I said, is a tough one. There are so many intricacies of how to get around here quickly, and we had Greg DeGeorgis from Symmetric Driver Performance Lab join us again here this weekend, as he will provide us with the keys to the race.
As always, thanks for the intro, Rob. I'm back again for the final round of this championship to present the Symmetric Lab's keys to the race. Drivers have virtually traveled to North Central Ohio, the spiritual home of Cooper Tires, to take on the storied Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. With a rough, patchy racing surface, a mix of blind on and off camber corners, and loads of elevation change, this place will challenge these drivers as much as ever tonight. Definitely a fitting way to wrap up this championship. Having won many races as an engineer here, and of course having spent countless hours working with drivers on a mobile sim lab to find performance around this place, one tough sticking point at Mid-Ohio that always comes up is just how pushing the car and yourself harder usually results in slower lap times. Controlling flow is so critical here, especially from turns 4 through 13, so it'll be interesting to see how different driving styles work tonight. I said this for most of the circuits on our calendar this year, but it's just as important as ever. Qualifying really is king tonight. Mid-Ohio is well known for being a tough place to make moves, with the only real passing zone down the hill into turn 4. So getting your best possible qualifying lap in is really important for race 1. The closer you can start to the front of the field, the less work you have to do by the end of the race. Probably the biggest thing on most drivers' minds tonight is deciding just how aggressive to play with the final championship points up for grabs. Surely for some drivers, their best defense is just a really good offense, while the opposite may be true for others. And for the drivers outside the hunt for the top 5 in the championship, they surely just want to end the eSeries on a high note. In any case, varying strategies tonight will make for some great racing. Anyways, those are my keys to the race for tonight's final round of the championship. Back to you, Rob. Book it.
I like it, Greg. Great insight on tonight's action. Folks, Mid-Ohio, a tough track for sure. And well, as the drivers wrap up qualifying, let's now head to the IndyCar Ministry chaplain Jason Holt with the invocation, followed by the national anthem.
Let's pray. God, thank you so much for the opportunity of today. That's just a blessing of another day of life. And not just that, a life here in this country where we can enjoy so many freedoms, where technology can afford us to gather in this way and enjoy a time of racing and reconnection. And so, God, we just pray over today's events that technology would work smooth, everyone would have a great time, everything would go great today. And God, we look forward to another season coming up this year. Father, most of all, we just thank you for the forgiveness and grace available to all at the cross of Jesus Christ, in whose name I pray. Amen.
So, we buy shoes online, and socks, and shoe socks, and baby food, dog food, parrot food, gardening tools, art supplies, college classes, scarf, the scarf tube, sleeping bag suit? Yeah. So why not buy tires online? TireRack.com is North America's largest online retailer of tires. Find, buy, then have them shipped to one of our trusted independent installers for safe, easy installation. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Online, with all that other stuff.
And welcome back to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Rob Howden alongside Peter Mackay here in the Cooper Tire broadcast booth. And the top 6 drivers from qualifying moving through to the pole run: Braden Eves, Max Esterson, Matt Clark, Josh Green, James Davison, and Simon Sykes. The 6 drivers able to make the move, Peter, into that final session to see who was on the pole. And a driver who needed the bonus points, the guy who's trying to win here in his home state of Ohio, Braden Eves, winning the Symmetric Pole Award. He was the fastest driver in qualifying. We'll start on the inside of the front row. So the Symmetric Pole Award going to Braden Eves. Here's your lineup. And Peter, let's have a look at it here. Eves for Exclusive Autosport starting on the pole, as I said, the number 91. His driver, he's battling for the championship right alongside Max Esterson in the number 80. Row 2 will see the amazing young Canadian, the F1600 champion from last year, Matt Clark, in the number 26 starting in third. And the outside of row 2, he's been impressive all year long for Turn 3 Motorsport, Josh Green.
Starting on row 3 will be the number 18, James Davison, coming in here to mix it with the young guys, with Simon Sykes joining him on the 3rd row of the grid. Benjamin Pedersen will start in 7th, and Dylan Christie will roll off from 8th.
Yeah, Nikita Lastishkin, who will be at Indy Lights this year for DFL Racing, starting in the 9th spot in the number 69. Alongside him will be Max Kaiser in the number 35. While rounding out the top 12, the front 6 rows, Andre Castro in the number 77 for Legacy Autosport, and Michael Myers starting 12th.
Bryson Morris will start from 13th. He's the last man standing with the chance to win this championship, albeit very much an outside one. Antonio Serravalle will start from 14th, followed by Kian Tandon and Eric Evans.
Going back now to row number 9 and 10, Nate Aranda for Juncos Racing in the 69, starting 17th. On the outside of that row, Eli Navarro, last year's Lucas Oil School of Racing Formula Car Series champion. He'll be a rookie in USF 2000 this year. He'll start 18th. And to cap off the top 20, Hunter Yaney, who will run this year in Indy Pro 2000 with Velocity Racing Development. The number 11 will start 19th alongside the World Karting Association champion. He won the first race of the season of the WK eSports Series. Dean Dibdahl back with us here as the champion of the series. He'll run, of course, in this race and as well next Wednesday in the All-Star Invitational.
Starting in 21st in the number 21 will be Juven Sanderamurthy, with Evan Stammer joining him on the 11th row of the grid. Row 12 sees Trey Burke and Jackson Lee.
Looking at the remainder of the field, the drivers now rolling their way out of Thunder Valley. It will indeed be Grant Palmer and Hayden Bradley on the final road. 26 drivers, 13 rows of competitors. You can see from our aerial photo here, Greg DeGeorgis from Symmetric behind the wheel of our pace car. He'll duck on off here as we're getting set to go. That's the carousel, downhill, off camber, right-hander, a very tough part of this racetrack that leads onto the front straightaway and to, of course, start-finish as well. But this is the battle, Peter, what we expected. These are the two drivers, teammates, as you said, at Vendaval and Sim Racing, going head-to-head throughout the season. The 91 from Ohio is Braden Eves. On the outside, the two championship contenders, joined by Max Esterson.
You can just feel the tension here, can't you? No pace car there. They're just getting ready to go. And Braden Eves, he knows what he's got to do. 2 wins, that is all he can do. And what Max Esterson does is, well, he just needs to put that at the back of his mind. Braden Eves has got to try and get to the front, hit the front, and get that race win and go from there. It's a long shot for this championship, but it is not over.
We'll start the race as they do with the NTT IndyCar Series on the back straightaway. Punch off just before they get to turn 3, the kink in the straightaway. Turn number 4, the downhill right-hander, heavy braking up into that very tough corner where they get back up over the hill at turn 5, down to 6, through Madness into the S's. Quick start there for the 77 of Andre Castro. Not sure where he's going to go. That'll be a penalty for him as well. You can see how they're rolling in there, getting things underway to the corner. And I believe we are now racing. Braden Eves, the 91, taking off. Esterson's going to block a little bit to the inside. Defensive start there. Not sure what was going through the mind of Andre Castro. I think he was trying to time the start. That did not work. Mac Clark slotting into the 3rd position. 4th is the 33 of Green. There's Sykes going to work right now on Davison. A little bit of contact there as Sykes and Davison together. Peter coming down through turn number 4.
Yeah, that's very, very typical Mid-Ohio contact there on the opening lap. The tyres are cold, and yeah, Simon Sykes and James Davison just wheel banging there. They're both quite lucky to get away with that one, and they're both carrying on, which is good. But Braden Eves has managed to negotiate that very difficult start procedure, and he's in the lead with his teammate his sim racing teammate Max Esterson right behind.
Yeah, big wreck further back. Thunder Valley, Hayden Bradley, I believe, making contact. He was up and over. Of course, virtually no one injured here than that. A couple drivers having some trouble going off at turn number 1. One of them being the 20 of Simon Sykes. But coming back here to the keyhole for the first time at speed, it's still Braden Eves leading the way. Here's this fight a little further back, the number 35 of Max Kaiser in there. We've seen Kaiser battling it out throughout the year. Kaiser running right there with Simon Sykes and Michael Myers. Myers, another driver, has been impressive. Here comes Esterson, though, to the inside, working their way down into turn number 4. We may have a new leader, but look at this. On the outside, Eves can't quite hold it. He's going to go off. Eves off the racetrack. Will this hand the championship to Max Esterson? Eves is going to come back in front of Nate Aranda. That's going to be right around, I want to say, trying to see how far back he's falling. Can't see an Aranda on the grid, Peter, but that is an issue for Braden Eves.
Oh, that's such a pity. Well, the draft is so strong in these cars, and coming down that, whoa, so coming down the, oh no,
that's the replay.
That's a replay on the right-hand side of that earlier wreck. But yeah, I thought we were going to get a replay there of Braden Eves. But yeah, the draft is so strong, and it's a pretty long back straight there at Mid-Ohio. And Max Esterson knew that. He set that move up perfectly, made the move clean, and Braden Eves tried everything he could to try and hold it off, but just missed his braking slightly. And he's dropped all the way down the order, right down the order. Esterson in the lead, and well, all that Braden Eves can hope now is that Matt Clark and Josh Green can catch up with Esterson, and they're close enough to get some draft from him.
Yeah, I mentioned that. I thought it was Nate Aranda, but it was the 69, not the 069. So again, you look at that rear end plate. Here's the battle here now. The 69 is actually Nikita Lastashkin, who currently runs now in the 8 spot. As we ride on board here with Simon Sykes. He'll try the outside. You mentioned how that was a textbook pass. Here's Sykes trying around the outside. That's a pass that you make work as well, and that's what Eves was trying to do. When you get to the outside, if you can hold the position, beautiful pass there for Simon Sykes, and that's the defense that Braden Eves was trying to put on Esterson. Just couldn't quite make it work, Peter.
Absolutely, yeah. And I tell you what, Simon Sykes, he demonstrated that beautifully. It's almost as if he was making sure that your point was driven home there, Rob, for you.
That's exactly it. Let's have the replay again. So here is the pass to the inside. Great move for Esterson. Got a good run out of the keyhole. Better run, and you can see Braden trying to roll the outside, but just got too deep into the corner. You said it. Couldn't quite get the car wound up. But he was just trying to stay on the outside. Because if you hold the outside at turn number 4, you set up for the inside at turn 5. You can let the car drift out a little bit and defend that position, but just not quite enough.
Oh, spin for Pedersen.
Spin further back. Yeah, that's Pedersen. Pedersen going around out of turn 1.
We're riding on board on the engine cover of Josh Green's car, and Benjamin Pedersen. Now, Rob, tell us about that turn 1 at Mid-Ohio, because that curb on the inside, it's like it's got a landmine underneath it. It's you don't want to go anywhere near it.
Yeah, it's a massive curb. It's probably it's almost a foot tall. You don't want to go anywhere near that whatsoever, but you're also trying to carry so much speed through that corner. Drivers will knock down a gear or two to get the car to set some front weight on the car to get those tires to work. Although when you do that, of course, it makes the car a little bit looser. More trouble there for Braden Eves. I think that was Eves again, having a bit of trouble potentially going back. Kaiser may have gotten by. No, that's Michael Myers who's gotten by, so you'll wonder whether or not Eves may have flat spot on the tire. There's Kaiser going around. Max Kaiser around, coming out at turn number 4. I'll tell you, Peter, these drivers are pushing it to the absolute edge tonight.
That they are, yes. It's and here at Mid-Ohio, around the back part of the circuit, it's just so satisfying. It's one of the most amazing strips of tarmac to drive a race car through, and it just eggs you on, and sometimes you can just push that little bit over the edge. We saw it from Greg DeGeorgius from Symmetrics telling us that's the keys to the race. Slow is fast, don't overdrive. But I'll leave that to you to tell the guys that, Rob.
Yeah, exactly that. They won't listen to me either. They might listen to Greg when they're in the Symmetric sim trackside. But you can see Braden Eves trying the outside of the off-camber corner, the keyhole, the legendary part of this racetrack here. Off-camber, downhill, and a really nice pass there for Braden Eves as he's able to go around the outside of Michael Myers. Michael would be wise to kind of hang with Braden here right now. Michael has shown his prowess in sim racing, only 1 year actual racing with the USF 2000 program. Here's a guy that he can learn from both on the sim and in real life racing as well.
Indeed, yeah, and the sim is another skill entirely. It is amazing when you speak to, I've spoken to quite a few real-world racing drivers of late, and they say that it takes a huge amount of time to learn the little kind of secrets, the little tricks, a little bit like, I guess, it almost kind of reminds me of guys who go from the roadside to the oval or the other way around. It's they've really got to learn a whole new bag of tricks.
Well, and I think for a driver like Michael Myers, doesn't have all the budget he needs to get out and do a lot of testing. This gives him at least an opportunity to be behind the wheel of whether it's the USF 17 Tatus or the PM18 that we're using in the eSeries here to really get a lot of track time. Again, he's trying to put the budget together to get back to USF 2000. We've seen some really solid performances out of him. Let's have a look now here at Dylan Christie in that number 22 machine. He's running P5. Simon Sykes behind him. We'll see Dylan Christie this year, his debut in the USF 2000 Championship coming from the F1600 Championship Series. He's one of the drivers I rate very highly. Looking forward to see what he does when we get to Barber in April.
Indeed, yeah. I think what a place to start the season as well at Barber Motorsports Park. A kind of similar idea to Mid-Ohio. Lovely undulations, swooping fast corners, kind of a circuit with a little bit of everything to enjoy. And I tell you what, I bet these guys are just itching to get the glove in the helmet and travel to the circuit.
Love this shot here, folks, as we are looking out the back of Dylan Christie's car and then at the driver we're looking forward from, and that's Simon Sykes. But Barber Motorsports Park, Peter, very similar to Mid-Ohio in another way as well. It's another track that's unbelievably tough to pass on. It's super high speed, especially in the back part of the racetrack. A lot of off-camber corners, undulations, the rises and the falls. Down into turn 5, which is the best place to pass, is the hairpin at Barber Motorsports Park downhill. So that lengthens that braking zone, and drivers really have to be able to master the brakes to be able to pass, as they do here, the downhill run into turn number 4. But still watching this battle here, Dylan Christie getting hounded by Simon Sykes. Let's have a look at now Eli Navarro, currently running in, I believe, the 13th position. He's in a pretty good battle here right now as well. Navarro fighting it out with Jackson Lee.
Yeah, that he is.
Actually, he's closed on. He's got closing on Castro. Actually,
Castro, yes, yeah. Absolutely. In the 77 car, side by side they go, and Eli's going to try the Simon Sykes line, or the Rob Howden line, if you like, if you prefer. And whoa, it's a fantastic switchbacks there. It's a brilliant bit of strategy there when you come into China Beach and turn right then left then right, and it's almost got a bit of an Interlagos feel to it. Now, just want to mention James Davidson, who started 5th on the grid, up to 3rd now, and he's just asking a few questions of Mac Clark. He's just over a second behind Mac, who is just over a second behind Max Esselson, which is just about close enough to pick up a little slither of slipstream on the back straight. As whoa, who was that spinning?
I was just going to say, yeah, that's Navarro. Navarro's gone around coming out of the carousel. That's a tough part of the racetrack where you're trying to get back down on power. The rear end can go out. It looks like he may be high-centered. Will we go to full course yellow here right now for Eli Navarro? Will he press that reset button? Interesting to me, Peter. Esterson's gone right now, as we know. He's up the road. But, man, we had a shot there of Clark, Davison, Green, Christie, Sykes, and Eves all on top of each other. Even Michael Myers right there as well. Here's a shot here at Jackson Lee. He's going to work his way around the outside. Look at a little bump in there coming down into the braking zone. Missed that path. Let's go back to the replay here. I think we're on board with Navarro. Potentially. That's the driver who's gone off down. That might have been Lee actually who got off after contact down. Yeah, that's Jackson Lee off in turn number 5. There's Navarro's spin there. Trying to pick up both here, Peter. Lots going on.
Oh, that's so unlucky there for Eli Navarro. It was hard to tell if he was given a help there or not, but I don't think I've ever seen that before, where the car gets actually stuck more or less on the circuit. But anyway, we go back to riding on board. We're on the shoulder of Simon Sykes, looking forward to Dylan Christie. And oh, I tell you what there, Rob, that gives a great impression of just how precise you have to be. And Simon Sykes, he was just millimetre perfect there. Oh,
hold your breath,
really,
Peter.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Wow. Deep onto the brakes into the turn 2 keyhole there. And again, you want to roll a lot of speed to that corner, but it is, as I said, off camera. Now, we're going to see race control having a look at that incident between the 52 of Jackson Lee and the 77 of Andre Castro. Here's a move around the outside. Simon Sykes trying to go at it here right now with the number 22 at Dylan Christie. Look at the over-under, and here's Braden Eves trying to capture it as well. Sykes on the outside. Look at this through madness. Tremendous side-by-side action. Braden Eves going to try to get to the inside as well. There's contact. Eves had to go for it. Right rear contact damage for Simon Sykes, but Braden Eves had to throw the car to the inside, and I think he had that move done. Simon Sykes, Peter, just didn't want to give it up. We'll have a look at that replay when we can.
Yeah, I think Braden Eves has caught some damage there, I think, Rob, but we're going to get a replay here. And now, now this is fantastic.
Oh, that's
now, who is that? The 033. Hayden Bradley has given Eli Navarro a nudge to get him back going again. Now that, I tell you what, Rob, we've got to think of a prize for that. That's camaraderie.
Yeah, most sportsmanlike driver. Well done. I like that. That was solid. Probably not so much for the incident we saw overcoming into turn 9 over the hill into Thunder Valley, because that was a tremendous battle we saw there between Dylan Christie going at it with Simon Sykes. They were side by side, over-unders, and Braden Eves saw the opening. Threw the car to the inside. You're thinking potential damage for the car of Braden Eves. He's still running P7. He knows right now that he's potentially seeing the championship slip away. There's still money up for grabs for P2 in the championship, but you know Braden Eves, he wants to win this thing. He wants the championship, along with the $2,000, an hour's time in the Symmetric Driver Labs actual on-site sim at every race weekend throughout the 2021 season. That's would be invaluable for a driver to get a chance to get more track time on the sim trackside.
Absolutely, it's absolutely vital to get that time in a proper sim now. So incident responsibility for car 033, which is Hayden Bradley. Now, if he's been given a drive-through for giving somebody a help onto the circuit, there's no justice in the world, Rob.
We're trying to give this guy an award. They're taking it away from him. What's happening here right now?
maybe it's something else that we didn't see. So maybe he's trying to get his good graces. That's maybe what it is.
Here's the replay here, Peter. As they work their way up through turn number 6, 7, and 8, you can see Eves to the inside. Oh, there it is. So it wasn't so much that Sykes was trying to defend on Braden Eves. He actually lost the rear of the car as he worked his way through turn number 8 over to 9, Peter. The contact, you can see, he got a little bit rotated and the car shot across the track.
Indeed, and I'm just having a look at Braden Eves' lap times, and at the moment he's lapping at least 3 seconds of 2 or 3 seconds slower than what he had been. So obviously that even just minor damage is holding him back quite a bit. Now, Matt Clark had got up to about 0.7 of a second from Max Esterson, but it's almost as if he rattled Esterson's cage and he just thought, oh, okay, no more Mr. Nice Guy, and then just hit the afterburners, and he's gone up to 1.2 seconds again. But any slight mistake from Esterson, Matt Clark's going to be there.
Driver just going over, I don't know who it was, but somebody went over in turn number in the carousel. That was Nate Aranda potentially in the 069. Somebody went around. I saw that go over there. While there, we were watching Keon Tandon battling with Bryson Morris. That's a really good battle. So there's Braden Eves there in 8th. 9th is the yellow machine of Keon Tandon, who has been such a star. Was very good in Detroit, showed well at Iowa and at Laguna Seca. Had some more trouble at Laguna Seca, but he has been pretty impressive over this eSeries. He's trying to battle it out right now with Bryson Morris, but as you said, the wounded Braden Eves getting reeled in by both these drivers, and I think they're both going to go by down into turn number 4.
Yeah, I got a bit of a graphic demonstration there of how wounded Braden Eves is, and I hate to rub salt in it, but as they stand right now, and it looks like as where they're going to finish, Max Esterson, if he can hold this position, he is going to comfortably claim the Road to Indy TireRack.com eSeries presented by Cooper Tires with a race to spare, Rob.
Indeed, came in with a 25-point lead over Braden Eves, and Esterson just getting the job done. Eves got the first blood as he was able to get the pole position, but has not been able to transition that into a race win as both those drivers battled it out early. We saw that Braden Eves went off, kind of got him back into the fight mid-pack, and then had the issue with Simon Sykes over in turn number 9. Folks, Rob Howden alongside Peter Mackay here in the Cooper Tire broadcast booth. This is the final rounds of the TireRack.com Road to Indy eSeries presented by Cooper Tires, racing a doubleheader here this evening at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Max Esterson continues to lead, and we're coming around just 3 minutes remaining, which will be probably anywhere between 2 and 3 laps. This is a good fight here still, though. Keon Tandon and Bryson Morris, couple of young drivers who have starred so much in the SuperKarts USA karting program. Of course, Keon, a champion in the California Pro Kart Challenge, the regional series in the shifter kart categories. Bryson Morris winning both the X30 Senior and the KA100 Senior titles, national number 1 plates in the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour. He's moving to cars this year. Will be running with Mazda in their grassroots club factory team as well. And Bryson, definitely a young name to watch. We hope to see him on the road to Indy in the coming years. This is a good battle between a couple of young guns, one from Tennessee, one from California, fighting it out here in Ohio.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic to see. And Keon Tandon has impressed from the minute he hit the track here in this Road to Indy eSeries. He's actually been super consistent, in fact, really strong performances. And, well, will he be able to hold off Bryson Morris, who, of course, won a couple of rounds ago at Iowa on the short oval?
Here's a battle still going on. That's Andre Castro as Braden Eves doing what he can to hold on. Obviously damaged as we expected. I would expect to either the left front or left rear. That was where the contact was made by Simon Sykes over in turn number 9, but he's trying to lip itself home now. Again, $1,000 for second place in the championship, $500 for third, so Braden doing whatever he can to salvage those points to be able to walk away. He got the move of the race last event as we had at Laguna Seca. Here's Keon Tandon battling again that fight with Bryson Morris. And again, time winding down, Peter, about a minute and a half remaining for Max Esterson to get another victory. It will be his 3rd of the year as well, clinching that championship.
Now, it's interesting you mentioned that second place in the championship, Rob, because actually Braden Eves only came in with a 15-point advantage over Bryson Morris in 3rd. And exactly. Bryson Morris at the moment looking to gain just a couple of points, but if Eves were to were to hit problems again in race 2, then who knows? Maybe Bryson Morris could snatch second spot.
Well, that's just it. This thing is definitely not done behind Esterson. Here comes a move to the inside. Bryson Morris and Keon Tannen. In fact, Tannen goes to the inside of Nikita Lastishkin. He's going to take the position. So Lastishkin goes back a couple of spots. Nikita, who has been strong in a couple of our races, was one of the guys to watch at the Iowa Speedway Oval race. But look at this fight. It's now for 7th position. As here goes Morris, trying that run around the outside. Can he make it stick? He'll give him the inside line coming up the hill. Beautiful pass. Bryson Morris, book it. He goes to P7.
Great move there from Bryson Morris, and that could be really, really important. That'll actually, he'll be gaining 4 points now on Braden Eves, so that reduces that gap to 11 points, so puts him in range for race 2. It would probably need Braden Eves to hit problems again. Now, of course, also our reverse grid, Rob, the top 10 are reverse, and Braden Eves, well, he's the man without a date right now.
Just on the outside. In fact, Eves, whatever damage is on that car, he's now battling it out with the number 35, a Max Kaiser. Behind them, Jackson Lee quite a ways back. So you can see, it's just been a struggle here for this race for Braden Eves. He'll, of course, have a 100% car when we get back racing again for the back end of the doubleheader to actually wrap up the championship here in the eSeries. He's going to have a very strong race to it here at Mid-Ohio as he's dropping back another spot. Kaiser now to 11th. Braden Eves goes back to 12, but stay in that inside line. But Kaiser's going to get a good run on the outside as long as he stays on the racetrack.
Well, I'm surprised that car still has 4 wheels on it, because he's actually lapping at Peter Mackay's speed, and that means that car is all kinds of bent up.
Here comes Max Esterson, folks. The 18-year-old will win his 3rd race of the eSeries out of the carousel, and he is also the champion of the 2021 TireRack.com Road to Indy eSeries presented by Cooper Tires. It's a win and a championship for the young driver, Max Esterson, getting the win. Not a lot of coverage in what was probably his best run of the year. Matt Clark, the young Canadian, coming home in the 2nd spot. In 3rd, it's James Davison, the veteran driver with multiple Indy 500 starts. He's been doing a lot of NASCAR Cup racing as well. He ends up coming home 3rd. Josh Green in 4th, and Dylan Christie rounding out the top 5. So a couple of drivers from Turn 3 Motorsports, Peter, in 4th and 5th.
Indeed, yeah, fantastic stuff from those guys. And glad you mentioned there Matt Clark, Rob, because Mac has had such bad luck throughout the series. Amount of times where he's been caught up in other incidents which haven't been his fault in a lot of cases. And I think what he's been able to show here is been getting a bit of clean air, qualifying up the order, and he was right there in the wheel tracks of Max Esterson for the entirety of the race and matching him blow for blow. So watch out for Mac in race 2, but really nice for him to get an opportunity to show the pace that he has.
Well, and I will say this, because we have to look at this in terms of points. Mac Clark came in 4th in points, 20 points behind Bryson Morris, and I want to say 45 points, or 35 points rather, behind Braden Eves, and he's going to get 25 points for 2nd. This is going to bring Matt Clark back into the fight as well. This is going to be close, but again, tremendous run there for Max Esterson as he's able to come away with that victory, and of course then the championship as well. All right, folks, we got more to come. When we get back afterwards, we'll give you a full run through the results, and we'll line things up for race number 2. Stay with us, folks. More to come here on Rev TV.
An important decision is afoot. This man is about to buy tires on TireRack.com. Tire Rack is the leading online retailer of tires in North America and a repository of advice and expert reviews. And it's done! All that's left is to arrange for safe, easy installation at one of our independent recommended installers. Well, I guess he did that too. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
As your uncle, I want you to know that on the road to life, there will be rough spots, and they will chew up your tires. I recently took a road trip to Greensville to attend a chili cook-off. Rough roads all the way down. I drove there on these Cooper Discoverer and Duramax tires. You know, they're made with the durability of off-road tires, but for on-road driving. Without them, we might never know the winning bean-to-meat ratio of a good chili. And those are the things in life, my friend, worth driving towards. So go with the Coopers. Cooper! I'm hungry now.
Welcome back to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the first of two races done here to cap off the 2021 TireRack.com Road to Indy eSeries presented by Cooper Tires. We don't normally get the race winner to come in between these races because we have a practice and warm-up session for them to get back out. But he's already won the championship. He wins the race. All the pressure's off. Max Esterson, congratulations. You got the job done. Qualified P2. You were able to make the move to the inside. Braden Eves went off track. How's it feel? The pressure off? You're the eSeries champion.
Yeah, it's nice to take a little breath here. I was a bit worried qualifying P2 because it's as everyone knows, it's pretty hard to pass here. But I knew if I could exit the carousel on the first lap within half a second, I would have a chance either going into the keyhole or turn 4, and that's what happened.
So, Max, tremendous run for you, and as happened already a couple times this year, you're now going to have to start back in the 10th position. We know how tough it is here at Mid-Ohio. You've got that championship. Do you kind of settle back in a little bit for this final race and cruise around and kind of wait for the opportunities to come? Are you going to go back on the attack again?
I think probably on the attack since I have nothing to lose, but try not to wreck anyone.
Good man. Overall, were you happy with the way things played out for you? How was the setup for the car, the spec setup? Were you pretty comfortable with it?
Yeah, it's much better than last week, I thought. Less understeer is pretty good. I mean, it's always tough when you're behind someone, but in clean air, it was pretty solid.
Hey, anybody you want to thank? Now, I know we'll get you a chance to get back to your car, but is there anybody you want to thank right now?
Max Pappas Innovations, MD Search Partners, and the Road to Indy for letting me in, because obviously I'm not an official Road to Indy driver yet, but yeah, thanks to them.
Well, congratulations, Max. Well done. So Max, not really one of our official drivers, as we said, but he's part of that group of guys that we brought in to be part of the action here, Road to Indy prospects, and he is definitely one of our prospects. Peter, he's going to run over with you in the British Formula 4 Championship this year with Low Dempsey Racing. I had a chance to interview him on my Road to Indy Insider YouTube channel. Had a great interview with Max. He's super excited to get over there. To get a chance to run the Formula Ford Festival again, the Walter Hayes Trophy, but the whole national championship as well. This is a kid I think that we got to watch. Not only is he good on the sim, but he is unbelievably quick in real life racing as well.
Absolutely, and I'm so excited that he's coming over to the UK, and I'm pleased that he's won those $2,000 because the gas prices over here, he's going to need it. But yeah, absolutely brilliant, and I can't wait to go and watch him trackside and see him outdoors, as you call it, Rob.
Outdoors, real life, I don't know what you want to call it, but an impressive run for him for sure. Let's have a look at the results. If we can bring those up, we haven't got a chance really to look at the official results. So, Peter, have a look at those right now. Let's run through those.
Okay, so at the moment we're looking at the grid for race 2 as the drivers are bringing themselves out, but we can look at how the driver, I could read out the results from race number 1 for you. So Braden Eves confirmed. No, that's not right. That's grid. My apologies. We might have to abandon this, Rob, I'm afraid.
That's all right. Well, we're close to jumping to a quick break again. Anyways, drivers, as we said, got a chance to get on the racetrack. Here's the first race results here, I believe. Indeed, Max Esterson with the win. Matt Clark in that second position. James Davis in third. Josh Green and Dylan Christie rounding out the top 5. Another great run for Michael Myers. He ends up P6. He's working his way up to potentially into the top 5 in points. Bryson Morris holding on to 7th. That battle with he and Keon Tannen continuing. Nikita Lastishkin and Andre Castro rounding out the top 10. Let's go to a break and come back with race number 2.
An important decision is afoot. This man is about to buy tires on TireRack.com. Tire Rack is the leading online retailer of tires in North America and a repository of advice and expert reviews. And it's done! All that's left is to arrange for safe, easy installation at one of our independent recommended installers. Well, I guess he did that too. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Rick Motec, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious eSports competitor, Rick Motec has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, rickmotec.com.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio, and the drivers already on their pace lap to begin things here in race number 2. Again, Rob Howden alongside Peter Mackay as we get things lined up to get racing once again. Andre Castro will be on the pole position. Watch out for Andre, a very quick driver there in that number 77. Nikita Lastushkin, I believe, will be right up there on the off pole as well. We'll see Keon Tandon start alongside Bryson Morris here on row number 2, while row 3 will have Michael Myers and Josh Green. Row 4 should be Dylan Christie alongside Green, I believe, and then we'll go a little further back to, of course, Matt Clark and Max Esterson on row number 5. Both drivers finishing first and second with the invert of the top 10. They'll work their way back into row number 5. Field coming out of the keyhole turn number 2, and again, they'll have the start here right before the kink of turn number 3. I'm surprised the 77 of Andre Castro didn't get that penalty for the jump start. He's still going to start on the pole position, and we'll work them down. Oh, Eves trying to go to the outside. He makes contact with the back of, I believe, Keon Tandon. Eves tried to jump the start this time. He has damage. That should be it for Braden Eves. We are underway. Green, green, green. And racing down into turn number 4. Castro will take the lead as they'll work their way through that corner for the first time. It's an uphill run to turn number 5. I thought it was Tandon the contact might have been made with Braden Eves. Maybe not. It might have been Davison. Look to me, Peter. Oh, there's more damage.
Oh.
Couple of drivers getting connected, coming down the hill into turn number 6. Braden Eves, most definitely one of them. Matt Clark, potentially. I think it might have been Pedersen as well. James Davison. And Peter, that was drivers getting too aggressive coming out of turn number 5 down to turn number 6.
Absolutely, and that has big championship implications. Of course, Max Esterson is confirmed as your champion, but as we talked about in the last race, second place is up for grabs, and Bryson Morris, he's got through clean. He's up there in 4th position right now with a bit of clean air ahead, and Braden Eves is way down the order, so Bryson Morris could pinch this second spot if he can have a clean race here.
And again, that's $1,000 versus $500 again. Matt Clark, one of the drivers involved, remember, he was potentially in a fight for the top 3 as well.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Michael Myers may be able to work his way back up into the top 5 too. I will say this, I had thought that we were going to have a drop in confirming it with our series staff. No drop races whatsoever, so whatever you have is what you got. So you have to finish, or take all of your finishes of the 6. Of the 5 races, the 10 events total. And here's a battle right now. Watching these drivers work their way through turn number 3. I believe that's Antonio Serravalle and Hunter Yaney. Those drivers working their way down to turn number 4. You can see Serravalle having to get out of it a little bit here. It's right behind them too is Yuvan Sundar Amurthy. So pretty good racing here, Peter. That is going to be for, I think, 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Yeah, and it doesn't get any less tense wherever you are. You look on the grid, there's always tough racing going on. And I tell you what, the leaders, Andre Castro and Nikita Lastushkin, well, they've disappeared at the front now. Here we are with Michael Myers, Bryson Morris, and Dylan Christie, 4th, 5th, and 6th position right now. Keon Tandon as well, up into 2nd as well. He's up there with Castro and Lastushkin, so a completely new cast of drivers at the front here, and well, we shall see. And of course, if I'm right in saying, Rob, correct me if I'm wrong, the top 5 in the championship get to race in the All-Star event next week.
Yeah, perfect timing. That's one of the things that we'll talk about, of course, in the show, the post-race show. We will give you on board here with, there's Braden Eves trying to jump the start, trying to time it a little bit to see if he can't work his way forward. Looked to me like contact with the right front to left rear, Peter, and that essentially has ruined things for Braden Eves as he's fallen back into 21st.
I'm just getting note from race control that Max Esterson was black flagged, which is quite bizarre. I don't know what for. He is still running. So I don't know what that black flag is for. It might well be cleared. It could well be an error in the system. He is still circulating. He's in 8th position right now. 9th position right now. But I'm not sure what that's all about.
Well, we'll see if we can't get an update potentially from race control. If you keep an eye on that. We're still watching the scrap here right now for the top 10 positions inside the top 10. Esterson there right in the front. Then behind Esterson's, I believe, Benjamin Pedersen. Dean Dibdahl having a pretty good run here up into the 10th position as well, the WKA champion. Let's go back to another replay and have a look at what happened coming down here into turn number 6. That's contact from the back. Someone getting into the back of Davison.
Esterson.
Was that? Oh, there's the potential issue there for Esterson getting into the back of Davison, coming into the braking zone of turn number 6. And Peter, from there, everything just broke loose.
Well, that just shows you if it is so busy in there, it can happen to anyone. I mean, we know that Esterson's a very clean driver, a very fast driver, and yeah, just slightly misjudged it, and he's now in pit lane. So perhaps parked up for the day, perhaps serving a penalty. We will try and get an update for you as soon as we can. But well, we've seen it at every single round, haven't we, Rob? The reverse grid races, they shake the order up and they shake it up hard.
Well, you have to think that Max Esterson, of course, out front as he was for the entire first race, got very used to what would have been his braking marker, you know, going down the hill out of turn number 5 into turn number 6. And the first time through, surrounded by a bunch of cars, he was probably thinking, I'm just going to hit my normal brake mark, which, of course, you know, racers know that maybe you want to check up a little bit when you're in a pack like that and maybe deeper in the field. And again, trying to go deep to his braking zone, got right into the gearbox of James Davison. Around went James, and then all the chaos broke loose after that. Michael Myers, though, able to get through again. He's having a pretty good run here. Currently P4 for Myers, and she's trying to reel in Keon Tandem. Myers looking for another podium finish, and we'll go on board with him. You can see him there for the sim. Nikita Lastishkin there as well. So Lastishkin in the top in his sim. We've got the cameras going. He's P2. Below him, Michael Myers, P4. So the webcam working good for these drivers here, Peter. 2nd and 4th, respectively.
Nikita, we know that Nikita's in Los Angeles. He looks like he's parked his sim in a VIP lounge of a Los Angeles nightclub with all those lights on in the background.
Yeah, you love that lighting, don't you?
Yeah.
He's working it. You gotta wonder what the tunes are playing in there too, right? If it is a nightclub kind of thing.
Some chilled, sort of smooth house music, I can imagine.
Maybe some EDM. I don't know about. Maybe Nikita's really working it. We don't know. Love this run here though by Michael Myers. You know, we talked about him quite a bit through the eSeries here, and you know, you and I are both making sure that we order some heavy right foot coffee to have that in the percolator in the morning. But here's a guy that's trying to put the budget together to go racing this year again in USF 2000. I thought he was masterful last year as a rookie, making the move from 4 wheels. This is a guy that was an off-road ATV racer, got injured, broke his back, decided he wanted to go car racing, and then dedicated himself to it, and then came in as a raw rookie last year and had some really good runs, Peter. And over the course of the year, the body of work, the improvement he made over 2020 was absolutely astounding.
Oh, well, I tell you what, I really, really hope that Michael can get the program together, because he's shown, the one thing about the sim is you can show that raw ability as well, and he has shown that in spades throughout this Road to Indy eSeries with Pyrac.com and Cooper Tires. I mean, really, really impressive. And he, as you mentioned, there is an off chance that he could sneak into that top 5 and run in the All-Star race with some pretty big names from the NTT IndyCar series who once upon a time came up through the Road to Indy.
Yeah, indeed. That was a great pass there. We got a chance to see for Simon Sykes. He was able to get up the inside of Eli Navarro into the keyhole and, of course, cap that pass off, working his way down the straightaway. Now Dean Dibdahl in the WK number 21 machine, who won the championship in their eSeries, starting to put some pressure on Navarro. But yeah, we'll drop names in the post-race show. Those of you who are watching here on Rev TV, come and join us either on the Cooper Tire Facebook page or the Road to Indy TV app. You can download that to your mobile device. Continue to watch Dean Dibdahl here, just 13 years of age, and what patience he's been able to show us. So impressive. But you throw out some of the names that we're going to see in this All-Star Invitational. We got Spencer Piggott, R.C. Ederson, Tristan Vautier, Connor Daly, Ed Jones, Matt Brabham, Gabby Chavez, Oliver Askew, Zach Veach. We're throwing some big names up, and then we've got team owners from the Road to Indy who were big champions back in the day and race winners. Peter Dempsey, of course, winning the Freedom 100, and Jay Howard, championships in both USF 2000 and in Indy Lights in his racing career.
I'm really looking forward to it, and of course we'll be at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, and those who watched our race at Iowa 2 weeks ago, and yeah, you know, that was some fantastic racing, some very chaotic racing at that, and I'm sure these guys in the Road to Indy will want to give the big names in the NTT IndyCar series a bit of a bloody nose, but we'll see it. Oh, Simon Sykes just showing a clean pair of heels there to Benjamin Pedersen going up over the crest, and well, who said you couldn't overtake at Mid-Ohio? These guys are putting on a show.
I was going to say 2 fantastic fights. Simon Sykes right now up 15th position, started back in 23rd. He's up 15 spots into 18th with 8th with a great pass there on Benjamin Pedersen. And then we've got this tremendous fight right now between Dean Dibdahl, Eli Navarro, and Hunter Yaney. Antonio Saravalli right there as well. That's essentially, what, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. right nose to gearbox. This is just tremendous racing at Mid-Ohio.
Now, I've got a little bit of an update there on the incident with Max Esterson. He was handed a drive-through penalty for that. He's back circulating now, but that is the result of that. And tell you what, throughout this Road to Indy TireRack.com eSeries presented by Cooper Tires, Rob, the stewards, Ryan Cobb and Johnny Unser, they've not taken any prisoners. They've not taken any nonsense from these guys.
Well, indeed, and that was part of this, Peter. When we decided to do the eSeries once again, this was going to be an opportunity for some of the drivers, especially our prospects we're talking about, giving them a chance to get to sample having Johnny Unser as being the race director. He's the race director for our series as well. When we go real-life racing in the Road to Indy, so to be able to have that dialogue with the race directors they'll be dealing with in years to come, I think that's super crucial. And one of them is going to be Dean Dibdahl. We potentially could see him in the Road to Indy, the WKA champion, losing another spot. Antonio Serravalle, who's trying to put together a program to come to Indy Lights in 2021. He just got by Dean, moving Dibdahl down into the 13th spot, but this kid is really impressive for sure. That's the right side of the screen. Left side of the screen, we're actually riding on board with Dean right now. You can see him pushing hard to see if he can't find a way back by Serravalle.
We shall see. Now, I feel that this is always a sign that as a racing driver, if you're leading and you get no camera coverage, that means you're doing the perfect job. Well, that is exactly what Andre Castro is doing. I mean, he had a little bit of that kind of bizarre blunder on the start on race 1. Well, he is just clearing off into the distance right now in that number 77 car. And it almost seems that now he's in his groove. Don't try and get him out of it.
And there's an issue right there for Serravalle. He has overcooked it, was able to get first by Dean Dibdahl, was trying to find a way by Eli Navarro, and just overcooked it down into the braking zone. He's got a driver come around the outside of him trying to slide through as well. Trouble there for Serravalle, but he had a really good run. But as you said, good point, Peter. And we'll whisper it in our producer's ear now to potentially, if there's a lull in the action, to go find the 77 of Andre Castro, because we probably could give Andre some props. Here he is right here. Awesome job for our crew there of Dennis Branch and Alex Simpson. Andre Castro, as another one of these racers, Peter, doesn't quite have the budget, doesn't have the money to be able to just get in and run the USF 2000, trying to piece together sponsorship and partners. And at the start of the eSeries, when he contacted me, he said, I'm really trying to put together a program with Legacy Autosport. I really want to be able to run in the eSeries to at least show what I'm capable of doing. And we know that he was very good at Iowa Speedway, was right in the hunt there, able to start on pole here, and he has capitalized, Peter, thus far, leads by a pretty considerable margin.
Yeah, I think this is exactly what he's doing, is showing what he's capable of. He actually ran some races in the NASCAR Euro Series, and I believe currently studying at Chicago University. So tell you what, juggling a study program and putting together a race season, he's a busy boy.
Look at this fight here. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Michael Myers, Keon Tandon, Dylan Christie, and Bryson Morris. They're all going at it here as they work their way through the carousel, back through the final corner of the racetrack, turn 13, leading us onto the pit straightaway here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And you'll see as they come through a lot of the bridges here, you'll see the Cooper Tire logo, right? You see it up on top of the media tower, the announcing tower as well. Really, Cooper Tire, of course, based in Findlay, Ohio, not that far from Mid-Ohio. Kind of the spiritual motorsports home for Cooper Tires here at Mid-Ohio. We're pleased to bring this program here for you. And again, always pleased to have the partnership we do with Cooper Tires. Riding on board here, I want to say, is it with Morris? I think we're with Bryson Morris. Indeed, you can see the drivers out in front of him. As here comes Christie. He's going to look to the outside of Keon Tandon. To the outside, can he hold it? Come up to turn 5, into the inside. Oh, they're going to be side by side. Keon Tandon's trying to hold it. Down into turn number 6. Tremendous racing. This is what Mid-Ohio is all about. And Peter, I love this part of the racetrack. Turn 4, 5, 6, 7. This is when these drivers are absolutely white-knuckling it. And even though you're inside somebody, you don't have the position done. You can always switch back on itself.
And I tell you what, I was having some laps earlier on in this Tadis PM18 on iRacing on my own sim, and it's got actually a lot more downforce than you might expect. It is, you really, like you say, white knuckling, you're hanging on, you're going, oh, surely we're not going to go around here, and it just sucks it into the ground. It's an amazing little race car, actually. It's really well created here on the iRacing service. Now, I want to talk about Bryson Morris, because he is playing this so smart. He has not fought these guys. I mean, 16 years old, well, he's got double that age in maturity, because he did not fight Dylan Christie, he didn't fight Cian Tandon. He knows, he's obviously got a good spotter on board as well, because he knows that this is more than good enough to get second in the championship and another $500 than he thought he might have done. So Bryson Morris playing this super smart. Great to see.
Right there to get the good shot of the... Oh, there's the pass there. A big pass actually to the inside first for Dylan Christie. He made a good move inside Cian Tandon. Cian had a bit of a bobble as he tried to roll back on the throttle coming out of turn number 4. That allowed Bryson Morris. Here's 3 wide. That's, I believe that's Braden Eves, Eli Navarro, and Dean Dibdahl going at it, I think, there. And I think that's Grant Palmer. That's actually Grant Palmer, I believe, in there with Eli Navarro, as they are really going at it here right now for that position. Or that could, you know what, that still may be Braden Eves. I know the cars are very similar, Peter, but I think Braden potentially down a lap, a couple laps actually. So that is Braden Eves battling it out there, getting back through Navarro and Dibdahl.
Yeah, at the moment Braden Eves classified as 23rd position, so not going to score many points at all. And Bryson Morris only needs to eclipse Braden Eves by 11 points. So right now, Bryson Morris is right on cue to steal this runners-up spot. And I have to say, that just shows you, Rob, that the consistency has been really important. I mean, Braden Eves has been as fast as Max Esserson at a lot of racetracks, but just piecing together that consistency has just been the last chink in the armor that's made the difference.
I love this battle we're watching here right now between Eli Navarro, 16 years of age, Dean Dibdahl, 13 years of age, a couple of young guns. Eli Navarro, Lucas Oil School of Racing, Formula Car Series champion, taking his $75,000 scholarship to D-Force Racing this year to run in USF 2000. Dibdahl, just 13 years of age, going to do a bunch of karting this year, potentially doing some Spec Miata racing as well. He's doing some road racing and karting. This guy, a lot of different experiences for Dean, and this is, I hope, is one that he's enjoyed. Like we had said, as the champion of the WK eSeries, he's been able to run here in the finale with us, but he's also going to be part of the All-Star Invitational at Worldwide Technology Raceway next Wednesday against so many, over a dozen of the Road to Indy graduates who have gone on to be pros, plus all of our Indy Lights drivers are going to be there, as well as Dean Dibdahl and the top 5 drivers from the championship points. So everybody fighting for a chance to run next Wednesday, but this is a good battle here right now for 10th and 11th. Between Navarro and Dibdahl, but we're getting down to it, Peter, just over 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, not long to go here in the season, and well, as we see, Dean Dibdahl, he's got a fantastic run here on Navarro, but Navarro sees him coming and shuts the door, saying, I've seen that one before, Dean. But look at this, here he goes with the little bit of a cutback, but again, Navarro's just got the car parked in the perfect place, but looks like now Dean Dibdahl's going to get a run down towards China Beach. Through they go then, they're side by side, and he's going to the Rob Howden line. He's going to the outside line to get the switch back for the next curve.
Dean Dibdahl trying the outside here. Can he get the pass done up in turn number 5? Dibdahl to the inside. Book it. Takes the spot away. Dibdahl going around the outside at turn number 4. Takes the spot in turn 5. So move Dibdahl into the top 10. Great run there as we are winding down the time. Just over a minute remaining. We got a battle continuing here right now as Dylan Christie's been able to reel in Michael Myers. And again, good running here as Myers running P3. He's got to watch himself because here comes Dylan Christie to push. Bryson Morris closing up as well. Morris running P5. He hangs out where he is. As Peter had said, he's going to end up with this championship. A little wide into the keyhole there, though, for Christie, Peter, and he's going to lose a bit of ground.
Yeah, that could be quite critical there, but of course the draft is so strong in these cars, but Michael Myers doing his best to try and avoid it. Look at the concentration on his face there. That's a kind of onboard shot, if you like, from his sim. You can see that, and you can actually see he's using his driving gloves as well. I really hope they're Sabel driving gloves, Rob.
I would think they probably are, for sure. We'll have a Sabelt hard charger before the end of the day. We'll find out who that is. In this particular race, Simon Sykes up 15 spots from 23rd up into the 8th position. But let's pick up the leader here right now, Andre Castro, coming through the carousel. I have a feeling that Legacy Autosport machine is going to be able to get under before we go green, and go checker rather, indeed. We're going to have one more lap going around the racetrack. White flag flying for Castro 5 seconds early. And this actually not working that well for Michael Myers. Had that been a checker, he would have got third. Now he's going to fight for Christie. Christie looking to the inside of turn number 1. Look at Myers running the outside. He'll work up onto the rumble strips on the exit. We're watching Michael Myers, his webcam, as he races for P3 right now. Down to the inside of the keyhole. He is trying to hold the spot, get some good forward bite coming out of the corner. Peter, they are going to push up on him right now. It's going to be Christie on the outside. Look at this, side by side. Myers, he knows it. Look at the camera at us.
Give us a wave, Mike.
He's trying to hold the inside line still. Got to go deep on the brakes. Myers trying to get himself into the top 5. Look who's coming to play. Bryson Morris back here as well. Christie goes to P3. Myers thinking about going to the inside. Car wiggles a bit, Peter. Top of the hill there. Christie down to 3rd.
Well, yeah, you could see that. I tell you what, if I was Bryson Morris, I'd be leaving a little bit more distance in the circumstances. But here's going to be our winner then, Andre Castro from pole position. What a dominant drive, Rob.
Excellent run for the Legacy Autosport driver. The 22-year-old Andre Castro pole to checker for Legacy Autosport to get the win in the final eSeries race of the 2021 season. Nikita Lastiskin, another tremendous drive. Dylan Christen's going to cap off the podium P3. Michael Myers just needed that last lap to hold on to 3rd, but another great run for Michael in P4. Bryson Morris, we're believing unofficially going to take the 2nd place in the points. The issues for, of course, Braden Eves. Neither of the races, Peter, going the way he wanted. But again, a tremendous run for Andre Castro, folks. Stay with us. After this break, we're going to line up a bunch of drivers, get a chance to talk to our champion, get a chance to talk to our race winners. Of course, getting a chance to talk to Dean Dibdall, our hard charger. A lot of interviews still to go. Stay with us, folks. More to come here on Rev TV.
Hey, your Uncle Cooper here. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Goldie, my niece, your cousin. And Goldie didn't know which tires were right for her. The first ones were too much tire, and then the next ones were not enough tire. Anyway, long story short, Goldie found the Coopers, and they were just right. What a happy, practical ending. Go to sleep. I love you. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Rickmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Hundreds of name-brand parts. Expert support. Rickmotech has you covered. There's only one place to go, rickmotech.com.
Your great-grandma used to tell Uncle Cooper the best stories, like Goldilocks and the Cooper tires. The Coopers are just right. Goldie's no sucker. What a lady. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Welcome back, folks, to Mid-Ohio and our finale. The races are done of the 2021 TireRack.com Road to Indy eSeries presented by Cooper Tires. And Rob Howden here with Peter Mackay in the Cooper Tire broadcast booth. Peter, what a fantastic race. We're starting to get some of our drivers up here with us in a second. Let's jump right to it. Andre Castro, congratulations, my friend. A great one for you, starting on the pole position, using that top 10 invert. But when you got out front, no mistakes whatsoever. Nice to be able to grab a victory here. Oh, we had him, but we lost him. We'll have to bring him back. Peter, let's get your thoughts right now as we line up our guys. What a great way to finish. We had some awesome racing in that particular event.
We certainly did, and we debunked the myth that you don't get good racing at Mid-Ohio. We had fantastic racing at Mid-Ohio, some brilliant battles, and Road to Indy boys, they didn't let us down.
Andre Castro joining him back in here. Did you hear my question before, Andre, or do you want me to repeat it?
Yeah, you can. I didn't hear it.
All right. I was just saying, for you, fantastic to get a win to cap things off. I know that at the start of the season, when you and I talked about you being part of the program, you're really trying to get a program together with Legacy Autosport. But, you know, with the invert, you end up starting on pole. Flawless performance from there, though. No issues whatsoever, and a well-deserved victory.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. that was nice to finally be able to start on pole and kind of get that clean air, and then just go from there. But man, this week was the first time I raced without a Logitech G27 in my life, and it is crazy the difference. But it's also kind of challenging to adapt to. The only practice I had were 30 laps, before the race. So I think the practice and qualifying was just kind of figuring it out, making some mistakes, and now I'm really happy with my setup here, and looking forward to get a little better with it. But yeah, great race, and as always, thanks to Legacy, Will Marotti, Mike Meyer, everybody that makes this thing work. Because wanted to do something cool in the last race of the season, because I feel like we've had some pretty bad luck. So that was pretty much the best way to do it. So
I
really
have
happy with the performance.
Andre, I have no doubt that the Legacy Autosport crew was watching and cheering you on the entire time. They're an enthusiastic bunch for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike and Will always watch the races, and they're super enthusiastic about it. Unfortunately, I did not make it back to the podium because I was doing donuts and I got nailed. So now I cannot exit the grass. Max Esterson, he tried to help me, but sadly it was to no avail. But nah, another great season of racing. I was hoping to get my sim a bit earlier, but was able to break it out for the last race, get a win. Had a great time with my teammate Simon and my spotter Gresham Wagner. Yeah, just overall a really good team effort, and happy to close it off in the best possible way.
Andre, congratulations on the win today.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Thank you.
Andre Castor for Legacy Autosport scoring the win in our final race of the 2021 season. Peter, you got one of our drivers who was in the podium as well. You're standing by with second place finisher Nikita Lastishkin.
Nikita, welcome to the commentary box here on Rev TV. And how did you enjoy that one out there today at Mid-Ohio?
It was pretty good. I think we honestly, have we not had to fight with another car at the start, we could have been closer to Andre, but it was a fun race. Yeah.
I see, yeah. And I have to ask you about your sim room, because Rob and I were admiring it on the broadcast earlier. We know that you're in Los Angeles, but this looks more like a VIP lounge in a Los Angeles nightclub. Tell us about how you put this all together.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thanks for checking the stream out and the room. Yeah, it's basically my closet. I just put some LED lights in it. It's actually really hot. I'm sweating more than I would in a race car.
It's funny. A lot of sim racers talk about that, about how much you sweat. I mean, is it the physical, the physical turning the wheel, or is it the nerves?
I think it's a combination of my room not really having a lot of air, and then also just a concentration, because you definitely have to focus, especially when I was trying to stay with Andre. It takes a lot more mental concentration to be consistent on a sim, because you don't have the same sensations you have in a regular car. So I think mentally it's a bit more demanding.
And final question from me, Nikita. You're off to race in Indy Lights this season. It's going to be a fantastic year of racing, I'm sure. What's your feelings heading into this season in Indy Lights?
To be fair, I'm super excited. I have not had a lot of seat time other than iRacing over the past year. So luckily, we're going to have a couple of test days before the season begins. But I'm very excited. I'm with a very, very good team. And I have very fast teammates. And I think things are looking very good for the year. Yeah.
Well, Nikita, we wish you all the very best of luck. I look forward to watching your races in Indy Lights, and good luck. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, guys.
Nikita Lastishkin will run with HMD Motorsports and Global Racing Group this year. I'll tell you, we saw some fantastic racing, Peter, and one of the drivers who was in that fight and was able to finally get through to the final position on the podium joining me now. Dylan Christie, those last couple of laps, I'll tell you had Peter and I on our the edges of our seats, because you and Michael Myers and Bryson Morris were really going at it.
Yeah, I hope you got that last lap on the replay.
We did.
That was a nice, cool little pass. I mean, it's cool. So it's a little harder to pass around this like tight course, but then when you do get a pass in, it's just so gratifying. So
yeah, it was a strong move around the outside there. Then Michael kind of tried to come back on you a little bit. Was that in your mind? Was that the setup? I'm here. This is where I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to get that pass done at the end of the straightaway.
Yeah, so it's not it's not like 1600 racing where you have to like you might pass, but then you gotta wait and be patient. Like if you want to pass, you gotta go. You know, like you gotta break late and like really go for it, kind of. And then once the pass is done, you've kind of with the error wash that's out there, it's hard to come back from that. So like once you make a pass, it's pretty gratifying. Just waiting and then going for it and get on the brakes and all that.
Well, that begs the question, and a great setup. Obviously, you had a lot of success in F1600. You're moving up with Turn 3 Motorsport to run in USF 2000 this year. The opportunity to do a bunch of wheel-to-wheel racing here in the eSeries on the iRacing platform, how much you think that has kind of benefited you, getting a feel for maybe the different racecraft or the different strategy that you'll have to employ in this particular car?
Yeah, it's pretty helpful. I mean, it's like free track time, which is as helpful as it gets, and it's good to get in that right mindset because you have the 1600 car where it's easier to pass but hard to pass at the right time, right? Whereas this, it's harder to pass, so it's like that whole different racecraft skill of knowing how to pass when you really think you can't pass. And it's a whole new type of racing, which that'll be cool to get into and get used to.
Well, Dylan, congratulations on a third place finish. We did get that pass. We were following you guys for the last couple of circuits. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Dylan Christie, folks, for Turn 3 Motorsport coming home in third. And we're going to cap off this particular segment here on Rev TV by bringing in our hard charger, our Sabelt hard charger, Simon Sykes, starting back in 23rd. He'll stand by right now with Peter Mackay.
Thank you very much.
Simon, welcome to the commentary box here. You, sir, are the Sabelt hard charger. Now tell us how on earth you did that, climbing through so many places.
Well, it was definitely difficult at the start. There's a pretty big incident on the first lap, so avoiding that was key. I definitely went through the grass in first gear, just trying to avoid going as slow as possible. But by the second and third lap, it was put my head down and start setting fast laps time. And I was able to run some decent laps, actually better than what I ran in qualifying. So I knew I had a decent speed, and luckily I was able to run through the field. I think I got pretty lucky one lap and I was able to get three into one turn, but it was just passing cars where and when I could, trying to chase down the leaders. Got all the way up to 6, and that seemed to be what it capped off at.
Well, it's an absolutely mighty drive, and everyone likes to say that, oh, you can't pass at Mid-Ohio, but you have proved them wrong, Simon. I mean, how much experience do you have of Mid-Ohio in the real world, and if you do, how useful was that tonight?
I definitely have some experience in the real world. I've run the F2000 Championship Series, the F1600 Championship Series, and most recently the USF 2000 Series last year at Mid-Ohio, which all proved very, very useful in knowing where and when you can make moves on this track, because it is definitely a difficult one. And especially staying side by side through the back sections, incredibly difficult. And it didn't really work in race 1, but I was able to make it work in race 2.
Well, Simon, it was an absolute joy to watch you carving through the field. Well done on a brilliant drive. You, sir, are the Sabelt hard charger.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Well, Peter, we saw some tremendous racing there. In all honesty, probably the best racing we saw of the entire series.
It was, absolutely. Who would have thought it? Mid-Ohio, and and I'm sure the drivers probably had the most fun as well, maybe with the exception of Road America, but that'd be interesting to know what they thought of that.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think Braden Eves had that much fun, but we know for sure that Max Esterson did, as did the winner of this second race, Andre Castro. Tremendous racing here at Mid-Ohio. Did not disappoint, which was exciting. So, Rev TV fans, if you want to join us for the remainder of the post-race show, head over right now to the Cooper Tire Facebook page or the Road to Indy TV app. Kudos again to tonight's winners, Max Esterson and Andre Castro, and our 2021 eSeries champion, Max Esterson. Mid-Ohio, of course, a challenge as we expected, and it was exactly what we hoped for. Join us back here on Rev TV next Wednesday night for the inaugural TireRack.com Road to Indy eSeries presented by Cooper Tires All-Star Invitational at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. Drivers, as we said, pretty impressive. We got some ex-IndyCar drivers, sports car drivers, you name it. It's a fantastic lineup. Thank you so much, folks, for watching. And on behalf of everyone here at the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires, Apex Racing TV, as well as my broadcast partner, Peter Mackay, thank you so much for joining us again here on Rev TV. My name is Rob Howden. Bye for now.
I recently took a road trip to Greensville to attend a chili cook-off. Rough roads all the way down. I drove there on these Cooper Discoverer and Duramax tires. Without them, we might never know the winning bean-to-meat ratio of a good chili. So go with the Coopers. Cooper!
So, we buy shoes online, and socks, and shoe socks, and baby food, dog food, parrot food, gardening tools, art supplies, college classes, scarf, the scarf tube, sleeping bag suit? Yeah. So why not buy tires online? TireRack.com is North America's largest online retailer of tires. Find, buy, then have them shipped to one of our trusted independent installers for safe, easy installation. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Online, with all that other stuff.
Your great-grandma used to tell Uncle Cooper the best stories, like Goldilocks and the Cooper tires.
The Coopers are just right. Goldie's no sucker.
What a lady. Go with the Coopers. Cooper!
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio. We say hello to those of you Rev TV viewers who have come over to join us here on the Cooper Tire Facebook page, the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel, or the Road to Indy TV app. We are thrilled to cap things off here. Tremendous championship, of course, Peter, for Max Esterson, but Andre Castro, the driver, getting the big race win, 30 points in total. Nikita Lasterskin in second, Dylan Christie in third. And that battle, Peter, at the very end, Christie, Myers, and Morris, that was worth the price of admission right there.
They certainly put on a show for us, that's for sure. And you have to give a little bit of credit to Bryson Morris as well, where he just couldn't help himself, could he? He knew that he was in the position. He's like, oh, I really want to battle these guys, but I know I should behave myself. It was brilliant, absolutely fantastic to watch. And Dylan Christie was the guy who got that last step on the podium.
Once again, our post-race show here in the Cooper Tire broadcast booth. Rob Howden alongside Peter Mackay. Joining us now in the booth, a driver who had a great first race, not so much in the second race. He can kind of give us a walkthrough of what happened to him. Matt Clark, Canadian driver, won the F1600 championship up in Canada last year. Matt, congratulations, man. Second place in the opening run, man. You were good there. Not so good, not so lucky, let's say, in the second. Let's walk us through first, race number one. Good, solid second place finish. Mac, are you there? Can we hear you?
Yeah, first off, thank you very much, Rob, for that intro. And race one was great. I mean, Max had some unbelievable pace, but I was able to position myself right in the first few laps, and then we kind of got clear. I ran him down a little bit. He pulled away some more, but overall, a really great race to set me up for race number two. And unfortunately, I just got caught up in an incident in the first lap.
Now, where did you? Was it you're the incident that came back down the hill of 5 down to turn number 6? Did you get caught up in that?
Yeah, so coming out of what I believe they call Thunder Valley, a driver in front of me got into, I believe, James Davidson, and the track was just kind of blocked, and there was nothing really I could do about it.
Nowhere to go. Overall, have you ever? I don't think you've ever actually raced at Mid-Ohio, have you?
No, that's definitely something that's on my bucket list
what I
for
thought.
sure.
Yeah.
You know, you watch the IndyCar guys do it on TV, and that's something that's definitely on my list.
Well, obviously that solid second place finish could very likely put you in the top 5 in the final points. We were thinking you may have been able to challenge for a top 3, but very likely in the top 5. If that happens, will allow you to run the All-Star Invitational next Wednesday night at Worldwide Technology Raceway against a number of our Road to Indy graduates, Indy Lights drivers, of course, the top 5, as I said, from the eSeries. Overall, give me your thoughts on the series itself. Did it your performance, did it kind of match or exceed your expectations on how you were going to perform?
First off, I'm just super thankful for everyone at the Road to Indy organization for allowing me to compete in the series, because I feel it's brought my sim game to an entire new level.
Nice.
And I think that's really going to translate into what I'm doing in the car in 21 with Ganell Racing in the F4 US Championship. But racing against guys like Eves and Esterson, who are some of the best in North America, I think it's maybe a lot stronger. And coming into this, you know, I set my expectations low. I'd never really competed in a serious sim series, so I put in some hours, and it turned out really good. I think it's a solid foundation to build on.
Well, one of the things we did when we sat down and said, hey, let's bring some young drivers in who are, we'll call Road to Indy prospects. Yourself, of course, Max Esterson being one of those drivers as well. And to give you an opportunity to kind of get your name out there. Well, you certainly did that, because I'll tell you, some pretty impressive runs. We've talked a lot about Matt Clark throughout the season.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's been an amazing opportunity to be able to get this press and run up front and have some really good races with all these guys. And just thank you very much for all the mentions, Rob. And it was an awesome road to Indy series.
Well, Matt, congratulations on a great run in round one. You're able to finish second. Well done there. We'll see if you end up finishing in the top five. If you do, we'll see you at Worldwide Technology Raceway next Wednesday. If we don't, listen, good luck this year in F4. We hope to see you in USF 2000 2022.
100%, Rob. That's the goal. Thank you so much.
Peter McKay, definitely a driver we'll be watching throughout the 2021 season, running F4, as you said. It's time to have a chance to talk to this driver. Now, Peter, I'm gonna give this one to you. I talked to him after race number one, but you're gonna get a chance to talk right now to the 2021 TireRack.com Road to Indy eSeries champion, Max Esterson.
Well, Max, welcome to the commentary box once again. And can I just say congratulations? You have been the star of the show throughout the season, and just holding strong in this last round to get the job over the line. And I mean, how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, just good to seal it up. A little bit unfortunate of an ending, but yeah, good to have points stored up early in that way.
Now, you, of course, win $2,000 in prize money. Now, I can assure you there's just as many bad things to spend it on here in the UK when you get over here as there is in the US. But I've got a feeling I know the answer, but where are you planning to put that money to?
Probably tires. I mean, could get 3 sets of Avons for Formula Ford, so it's pretty good.
Well, yeah, that's certainly a good way to do it. I mean, heading into when? Well, first of all, when are you coming over to the UK, and when does your season begin, so people can follow your progress?
I'll be flying in a few weeks, and then the first race is at Snetterton on April 10th. I think it's a double or triple header.
Maybe need some Cooper winter tires for that at Snetterton in April. It's going to be a bit of a shot, but how are you looking forward to coming over here and racing in the UK?
Yeah, I mean, I got a little taste of it last year in the Formula Ford Festival and Walter Hayes Trophy, but yeah, I'm looking forward to more of it. I think I'll be a little bit better prepared this time with just more seat time. So yeah, I'm excited.
And does the Formula Ford Championship, will it be traveling north of the border to Knockhill? Do you know?
It will not, I don't think.
Oh, that is a shame. That is a pity, because I would be there calling in the booth there, Max. I'll have to travel south to come and watch and see how you get on.
Yeah, I'll let you know if I end up in a club race there or something, for sure.
You should come and race in the we have the David Leslie Trophy, which is named after one of Scotland's greatest racing drivers, and that's the kind of, it's a little bit like the Scottish Formula Ford Festival as well. So you'd be very welcome with us at Knockhill, and it's coming on iRacing very soon, I believe, too.
Yeah, I'll look into that, and I'm excited for it on iRacing too.
It's going to be fun. Now, Max, while we have you on here, who would you like to say hello to here on Apex Racing TV?
Yeah, just again to Max Pappas Innovations, Amity Search Partners, and Team Palfrey for letting me run their paint scheme, and yeah, as well as to Road to Indy and all their sponsors. So as I said before, I'm not in the Road to Indy yet, obviously, and I appreciate the invite to the series.
Well, it's been our pleasure to have you here, Max. Safe travels over to the UK, and very, very excited to see how you get on this year.
Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt a tremendous performance throughout the entire eSeries by Max Esterson, one of our RTI prospects who really stepped up, and we, man, cannot wait to see him in USF 2000, hopefully in 2022. Joining us here, another driver we're looking forward to potentially seeing in the Road to Indy either this year or down the line, coming home in 5th place today. A smart run here in race number 2. Bryson Morris, thanks for joining us here in the booth. All in all, a pretty good outing here at Mid-Ohio.
Yes, thank you for having me. But it was a really good two races with 2 top 10 finishes, and just trying to keep it clean, keeping it smart, and trying to just finish and grab points.
Yeah, we're thinking you probably moved your way up into 2nd spot. We don't have any of the calculations for you right now to find out exactly where you finished, but Braden Eves having trouble in both races. You kind of having really good runs in both to be able to likely move to 2nd. So vice champion in the program first and foremost, and we're going to see you next week as well on next Wednesday in the All-Star Invitational. A bunch of drivers, pretty big names you're going to go head-to-head with.
Yes, I don't actually know who's going to be in there, but from what you're saying, it sounds like it's going to be a really difficult race. So I'm gonna try and once again drive smart and hopefully finish in the top 5 or maybe top 3.
Well, let me name drop a little bit for you. We've got Ed Jones, Connor Daly, Tristan Vautier, James Davison, Spencer Piggott, Stephen Wilson, Peter Dempsey, Zach Veach, Matthew Brabham, Oliver Askew. Any of those names ring a bell?
A few of them, yeah. I mean, from what you just said, it sounds like it's going to be a very difficult race. So.
Well, you performed very well, my friend, over the last 5 weeks. Very impressive running, all told. Let me ask you this: coming into this race, was your focus on trying to be aggressive, or did you say to yourself, "Man, you know what? If I play it safe, I'll be third, potentially getting up into second"? Or was there more of an aggressive thought in your mind?
It was for sure just going for the points and trying to keep it clean. I was really aiming for a top 10, maybe top 5 in the races. So I wasn't really trying to push anything aggressive. Like in the first race, I just followed, I forget who it was, but I was just following him for most of the race, and we passed 2 people because of that. So I was really just aiming for the points, trying to keep it clean and just work my way forward steadily.
Well, again, one of the reasons we brought the RTI prospect program in was to kind of give you guys some exposure. Max Esterson, of course, put his name on the map, as did Matt Clark, and so did you, Bryson Morris. Tremendous run. Anybody you want to thank right now? Any sponsors you have on the car or a part of your program?
Definitely my mom and dad for getting me the simulator to do this on.
Yep.
And then Steel Helmets for supplying me helmets and stuff. So thank you to them.
Well, Bryson, congratulations. We'll, of course, be following you in your Mazda Club Racing, the factory program you have on their grassroots level for sure. Hopefully, we'll get to see you in the Road to Indy very soon as well. But again, congratulations on a tremendous championship run. P2 in the overall standings.
Thank you.
Bryson Morris, Peter, a very impressive young driver, no doubt about that. And again, a name that we're going to watch come through the ranks throughout the next couple of years. Now, Peter, we'll bring this guest in here right now. This will be kind of fun because you mentioned both he and Ryan Cobb a little bit. Johnny Unser's joining us here in the Cooper Tire broadcast booth. And Johnny, you guys didn't mess around in terms of race control throughout this entire program. You dropped the hammer on a bunch of guys. Overall, though, because you got a chance to watch it from a different angle, right? Look at all different replays, whatever it may be.
Right.
What are your overall thoughts on the championship?
It was fantastic. I'm really pleased to meet some of these guys I haven't met in person. And then, you got the veterans out there like Nikita and Braden and, a bunch of these James Davis and a bunch of guys that I know well. And it was an interesting mix between all of them. And each race, I think we got better and better. The drivers did a great job. There was a lot of respect shown. Yeah, we always have the big wrecks. I mean, it's it's some sim racing, and so unfortunately we do get those. But then once we settled into the races, I was impressed. And these Carters, these young kids, phenomenal. Really impressed.
Johnny, we and Peter and I talked quite a bit about it. You kind of expected Mid-Ohio to be a little more processional. It was actually some of the best and closest racing that we saw in the entire eSeries. But you mentioned getting a chance to work with some of these drivers. And I know you've worked with Nikita Lastiskin and a number of these drivers for years, right, as they worked their way up the road to Indy. But one of the benefits of having this eSeries program and bringing the rookie USF 2000 drivers in, maybe the guys that'll be rookies who haven't been with us in Indy Pro 2000 or these Road to Indy prospects, it gives you a chance to begin that dialogue, to begin that relationship with drivers that you're going to be officiating over the next couple of years.
Yeah, the E-Series is very important for those reasons. It's important for the drivers because they get to showcase what they can do. They get to bring their sponsors along. They get the exposure. And for us, from the Road to Indy and, the Cooper Tire people, Tire Rack, everybody involved, it's great because we get to know them and they get to know our procedures a little bit. Yes, there's things that will change a little bit as we go to the real racetracks, but they get used to the way we're doing things. And everybody from Apex Racing, that whole staff there is just phenomenal on sim racing, and they've taken the way we officiate in the road to Indy, and they're doing it the exact same way. So all the calls, I feel very comfortable with, that we make throughout the whole thing.
Well, we definitely identified some names of some young drivers that we're going to watch in the next couple of years. Max Esterson, of course, unbelievably impressive. Let me ask you that. Let's cap off with you, Johnny. Your thoughts on this young driver, Max Esterson, who has showed so well. He's going to go run British F4 Formula Ford this year, but we expect to see him on the road to Indy in 2022.
Well, my congratulations to him and all the top runners. They did an incredible job. And what I really appreciate from these young guys like Max is how polite they are and how nice they are to the officials. The respect that they have on the racetrack is in general very good. So my hat's off to them, and I hope they do very well in their careers.
Well, Johnny, thanks for taking some time to join us here in the booth. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot. Great job, you guys. It was really good.
Johnny Unser, folks. He and Ryan Cobb are race directors. Peter, let's come to you right now for some final thoughts, and then we'll kind of roll into talking about the All-Star Invitational. We're going to Gateway next Wednesday night. I mentioned some of the names to Bryson Morris. It's a star-studded field of Road to Indy graduates. What are your final thoughts on the eSeries? Final thoughts here from Mid-Ohio before we talk about Gateway.
Well, I think the one takeaway I have is that we got a deserving champion, that is for sure, in Max Esterson. He showed that he has the full package, and I have to say it's so exciting to see him come over and race here in the UK in the Formula Ford Championship, and I sincerely hope that he goes from Road to Indy prospect to Road to Indy graduate, because he's shown the kind of maturity and the skill to do that. But one thing is that we've also seen proper entertainment, because as you know, Rob, it's not easy to get out there and race and put the budget together, as you call it, in the outdoor racing. But in the sim world, you can have complete parity. These cars are identical, and all the drivers given an identical setup, and I think that allowed the drivers who've come along to show what they're capable of, and it's one of very rare occasions where they have that genuinely level playing field.
Indeed, and that's really was the kind of the motivation behind putting this program together. This is something you're going to see in the Road to Indy for years to come. The eSports program is something that we're going to continue to develop with the Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires, and I will take the opportunity to again thank TireRack.com and all of our partners for being part of the action again here this year. Let's cap things off, folks, and look at what is now an event not part of the series, a special event. Peter, we're going to Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway next Wednesday night. As I said, it's the All-Star Invitational. 15 Road to Indy graduates, all the drivers from the Road to Indy eSeries that are Indy Lights drivers, plus the top 5 from the championship, and Dean Dibdahl for the WKA. This is going to be a lot of fun. A little different format. We're locking things in over the week, but we're going to see some champions of the program. Oliver Askew, Gabby Chavez, Jay Howard, Spencer Piggott, guys that won championships coming up through the ranks are going to come back and have some fun with the current stars.
I tell you what, I'd love to be in the driver room, a fly on the wall in the driver room. I think there's going to be a lot of should we say, not gamesmanship is not the right word, banter. That's the word I'm looking
That's for sure.
There's going to be a lot of that, and you've got to think, well, look at that here in the Road to Indy eSeries. Max Esterson, a Road to Indy prospect, winning whoever was in that World Karting Association car, Dean Dibdahl being one of the real stars, was always putting on a show, and it's an opportunity to claim a scalp. I remember when I was a young golfer, I used to being able to hit the ball further than my dad when I was a kid. That was when I first started being able to do that. That made me feel $1 million. And the same thing is for these guys in the Road to Indy. If they can claim a scalp of some guys from the NTT IndyCar series on live television, well, that's got to be quite satisfying for them.
And you can see that racetrack from the air. It's such a different track. Both those corners, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, so differently shaped. This is going to be a fun race for sure. Got to throw in guys like Ed Jones and James Hinchcliffe and Zach Beach and Connor Daly and Tristan Voce, R.C. Enerson. These are some of the pros that are going to come and race with us. And for me, Peter, the cool thing was when I reached out to them, they were like, yeah, let me know. I'm in. This sounds like a lot of fun. So there were a bunch of guys that weren't able to do it with some conflicts as well. Pato Award, one of the drivers with the conflict. we're going to get them here for the next time we do this in 2022. But the bottom line is, this is going to be a lot of fun next week with the pros and the existing stars.
It certainly is, and I tell you what, I'm just as excited as I'm sure the drivers are. I'm sure you feel the same, Rob. You get to be the voice of IndyCar radio. For me to just to call names like a Hinchcliffe or an Ed Jones or Connor Daly or whatever, there's a huge list there, is a real privilege, and I use that word specifically, privilege, and can't wait. Roll on next Wednesday.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Peter. Folks, we are done here from Mid-Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us here on all the different channels and joining us for the entire TireRack.com Road to Indy eSeries presented by Cooper Tires. On behalf of the Road to Indy, Apex Racing TV, and my broadcast partner, Peter Mackay, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.
An important decision is afoot. This man is about to buy tires on TireRack.com. Tire Rack is the leading online retailer of tires in North America and a repository of advice and expert reviews. And it's done! All that's left is to arrange for safe, easy installation at one of our independent recommended installers. Well, I guess he did that too. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.